how to get experience when you're inexperienced. Let's use personal trainers, for example. Most personal trainers will go to school 2, 4, up to 8 years learning their field. It's a very slow route to get there. And yes, you do get the education, but what's lacking is the hands-on. And the hands-on, what they don't tell you is 99% of your business when you get out of college. So it kind of sets you up for failure. So how to speed up experience very, very quickly is to double up. By doubling up, what that means is double up how many times you train in a day. There's no rule saying that you have to train 3 times a week on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I train people 3 times a day, and it's a fast track to massive information with lots and lots of hands-on. So what if you did 2-a-days 4 times a week? That means you got double the experience, triple the experience in 1 week. So putting more time in, and I will tell you a massive, massive shortcut, and I use this all the time for hands-on. I train most of my elite or pro athletes 2 times a day in the weight room, and that's besides their sport. You get more bang for your buck if you know how to do it. There are some rules. The biggest myth is when you do a 2-a-day is people actually train 2 different body parts. Been there, done that, warned. I was warned by a great coach. If you do it, you will exhaust out and burn out. So what we do if we do 2-a-days is to learn more than one training system and then see how you feel, and then you take that experience to your client. So here's a couple tricks. When you do 2-a-days, it's paramount. The first session has to stimulate the central nervous system. So it could be doing speed work, something fast, a plyometric even, Olympic weightlifting, or your heavier movements, low rep training, things that exhaust your central nervous system. And then, write this down, you have to train 4 to 6 hours later. It doesn't work if you go to 2 or 3 hours later. It doesn't work if you go 8 hours later. You'll be fried. So the timing is critical, and this is where you gain your experience. You train the same muscle again. For an example, let's say you did speed squats and you were doing 8 sets of 2. So energy system style or speed work, like Louis Simmons would call it. That could be your morning session. And let's say you trained at 8 o'clock in the morning. You time it so you're back in the gym 4 to 6 hours later. So you're back in the gym at noon. Now you switch your training to more functional style. Functional means 30 seconds time of attention. Doesn't mean move your body weird. That's a myth. Or you go to hypertrophy or mass training or bodybuilding style training. So you get more work done, more styles. So gain experience by doubling up. Another thing you can do to gain experience if you're inexperienced, it's to take a crash course. Just like I told you about 2-a-days, there was one time I hired Charles Polkin. It was $4,000, 4 days. But I learned 12 different systems on how to train. And when you train with them, you got experience. You're doing it. You're in the trenches doing it. And the knowledge I gained off that 4 days, I've made my money back tenfold. So I've taught a lot of 5-day boot camps, and many of you have done that. So if you've done that, make a comment because you've experienced it. So doing all-day training with me or 5-day boot camps with me, we teach you many, many different styles. But then it gives you so much more information to take back to your clients. What you learned in school in 4 years, if you can get it in 5 days, what are you, a freaking idiot? It works. Okay. How to gain more experience when you're inexperienced. Hey, by the way, click subscribe if you like the content. I'll go deeper and deeper into some really good stuff, but I have to know that you're interested in learning this information. So if you're just a silent stalker watching, it doesn't always excite me to put it out there, and I can give you some great input from me and my other coaches that we've done. So make sure you do hit subscribe. Practice what you preach. Preach what you teach. So I have a saying, I have never trained a client with a program that I have never experienced myself, which means I won't give somebody something unless I was in the trenches and I know how it feels and I know what supplement to take, what food to give me a faster result, how can I heal faster, what kind of style was it, what did it do with my neurotransmitters, did it overtrain me and I got really tired, did it overtrain me and I couldn't sleep. You have to experience these things. And then you'll notice that you'll start to pick up on the trend of what kind of training you were doing and how it affected you, and you'll start to connect the dots, how you responded to that training compared to somebody else. And for an example, I do extremely well because of my body weight and how long I've trained, or my training age is over 30 years. So I respond really well to the lower rep brackets now. The problem is I also have a tendency to get hurt if I go heavy. So I tweak the system where you might get very muscular training for 40 seconds time under tension. I can get very, very muscular quick if I go to 28 seconds. So, like for example, I might do a narrow grip bench press at a 45-degree incline, and I might come down in a 4, go back up in a 4 for 3 reps. And so by every rep taking 8 seconds, I can go pretty heavy, but going so slow, I can't go so heavy that I get hurt. So I might do a 4-0-4, 4, 3, or 32 seconds. Or I might have a client do 2, 3 more reps to get muscular. And this is all from experience. I have a lot of clients that are thinner, taller, who do extremely well in training when you give them lactic acid training with very short rest intervals and lots of volume. But I still experienced them. When I do high volume training, I get a result. The result doesn't last for 2 weeks, and then I start to lose strength. And by the way, strength is the missing element in all training. Strength trumps everything. So as soon as I do volume work and I start to lose my strength, I kick the volume work back out, and I go back to a different style of training that picks my strength up radically. Your biggest goal for your client, whether they know it or not, is you're always trying to measure strength. So you have to practice what you preach, and then immediately Once you've experienced it, you teach. Yeah, so you have to practice what you preach, and then as soon as you've done that workout, the fastest way to learn and increase your skill is to teach it. Yeah. So within 1 week of learning these boot camps and going through it, I was teaching somebody 2 days later. And you gain experience faster than most people. So my 30 years of experience is more like 120 years experience now. Okay. So my point is, you have to put your time in to get experience, but you don't have to wait. If you want to be successful, being impatient is actually a really, really good trait. So put your time in, but don't wait. And get your experience faster than everybody else. And get Jimmy jacked.